Hey, what is up everybody? Welcome back to an episode of Pokemon Go. In today's episode, we're doing something a little different, a little spicy, a little fun. We're going to be doing a tier maker for every Gen 1 Pokemon, but Pokemon Go. So, we're going to be going through all the Gen 1 Pokemon, and it looks like including Megas, and basically putting them in a how do I like them, but framed from Pokemon Go. So, for instance, my favorite Pokemon is Blaziken, but Blaziken's not in Gen 1. So, we're just going to go around and we're going to be going. So, S tier is like the highest, D tier is like, meh, don't really care about you. Alright, so, Bulbasaur, in terms of like, just Pokemon Go, it's dope. It had like a really, its community day, its first one was on my birthday, so it's a little higher. It's like average, but like, okay. Ivysaur, it's going in C tier. It's like a little below average. Venusaur is actually a really good grass type attacker and a good poison Pokemon, good shiny as well. So in terms of Pokemon Go, pretty cool. Overall, in like Pokemon, I'd say it's probably like a B, but in Pokemon Go, A tier. Mega Venusaur for Pokemon Go, S tier, right? Like top tier grass type, top tier poison type. It's a Mega, and like Megas in Pokemon Go are like cool. Now, with that being said, Charmander going in C tier. Like it's okay. Community Day was actually really dope, but mainly because of Charizard. Charizard for me is A tier, not because it's popular, but because I won money off of Charizard. So if you go back and watch my initial Charmander Community Day video, it's actually going to show what I'm talking about. So go ahead and watch that video. Mega Charizard X is actually kind of forgettable in Pokemon Go. There's better Dragon type Megas, and Mega Charizard Y is actually so much better. Like, so much better. Squirtle. It has Squirtle Squad, okay? Speaking of which, Squirtle Squad Community Day coming back. So, very cool. Squirtle Squad, it bumps it up to A tier, right? Like, it was the... I want to say it was the first non-Pikachu costume Pokemon. Awesome. Lore Turtle? No. Blastoise is actually so bad in Pokemon Go. In Pokemon Go, Blastoise just... it doesn't do anything. It's not a good water type Pokemon for anything. The best thing about Blastoise is it's Mega, and its Mega isn't even the best water type Mega in Pokemon Go. I'm sorry. Weedle. Caterpie. It's gonna go into A tier. Why? 1, great shiny. 2, is a great way to get XP in Pokemon Go. Just free XP along with Weedle and Pidgey. They're 12 candies per evolution. You just farm Weedle, Caterpie, and Pidgey, and just they're the kings of XP. Metapod, I'm sorry, you're not doing anything in Pokemon Go. Butterfree, I'm so sorry. In Pokemon Go, you're not doing anything. Beedrill has some play in PvP, but only in PvP. Mega Beedrill, kind of dope. Community Day Pokemon, fantastic poison type Pokemon attacker, but is outclassed by some other things. Pidgeotto, not doing anything in Pokemon Go. A Pidgeot, not doing anything in Pokemon Go. Mega Pidgeot, kind of good. One of like the few like accessible normal Megas, and like honestly, Mega Charizard Y is a better flying type Mega. Rattata, Rattata is just gonna go down there. Raticate, yeah. See, Rattata is at least cute. Spearow, only because I love the shiny, and like the shiny means a lot to me. Going in B tier, and Fearo's going down there. Ekans, do we care about Ekans? We don't really care about Ekans. Arbok is also not that great in Pokemon Go. Pikachu, no, Pikachu's because it gives us so many like unique shinies to hunt. Pikachu's going in B tier. Raichu, Sorry. Like, Raichu just really doesn't do anything in Pokemon Go. Sandshrew doesn't do anything in Pokemon Go. Sandslash doesn't do anything in Pokemon Go. Nidorina, Nidoran. Now, Nidoqueen, really good in PvP. Like, for a while, dominated PvP in the Great League. So, quite nice. Quite nice. Nidorino, only because I personally love Nidorino, is going in C tier. Nidoking, not so much. So basically, what it's boiling down to here, right, is D tier is they don't do anything in Pokemon Go, right? They're not PvP relevant. They're not like good for raids, and they're just kind of meh. C tier, kind of meh. Maybe is like a little cooler than like a D tier. Like Charmander, Charmeleon, Wartortle, Ivysaur, just because like they're starters, they're iconic, they're a little cooler. B tier, kind of your mids, kind of dope, kind of Clefairy, doesn't really do anything for me. Clefable though, PvP, Charmer, great, fantastic. Vulpix, not really doing anything in Pokemon Go, not that dope. Ninetales, kind of spicy for PvP. Jigglypuff, not doing anything. Wigglytuff, kind of spicy for PvP. So your PvP viability kind of does give you some points here. Zubat, no, I'm sorry. You're just as annoying in this game as every other game. Oddish, I love Oddish's Shiny, actually. Some good moments with Oddish's Shiny. Bloom does nothing. Vileplume is actually like low-key kind of good as a poison type and like as a razor leafer. It's not like a horrible option. Paris deserves to be down here. You know what? No, we're adding a row below. Paris gets its own tier. Paris so annoying to catch Paris, especially in the early days of Pokemon Go. Absolutely not. No. Paris has his own tier. Venonat. Venonat's kind of dope. I love Venonat's Shiny. But Venonat itself doesn't really do anything. Venomoth had its own like special like Sylph Road badge that if you could solo, I think it was like an Executor, like 3-star raid boss, back when there was like 3 and 4-star raid bosses. If you could solo with just one Venomoth, like you could get like a special badge. So like for that reason, it's going C tier. Diglett, Dugtrio, just they don't do anything. Meowth, I'm currently working on a project still for Meowth that's under wraps, so it's going in C tier. Persian, not so much. Psyduck, I love Psyduck. I love the shiny Psyduck. It is phenomenal. Golduck, not so much. Not doing much in Pokemon Go. Mankey, phenomenal shiny. Does it shiny let it go into C tier? I love Mankey. Mankey, Primeape are awesome. I love this family. Okay? I personally love Primeape a lot, so it's going up there. Growlithe, Arcanine. Arcanine goes up here. It has like some decent PvP viability with just a vast moveset. And Arcanine is just a good doggo, right? Just a good doggo. Poliwag, Poliwhirl, not doing much. Poliwrath, kind of decent for PvP. Kind of dope. Kind of love it. Abra had a community day, but kind of forgettable. Kadabra, also kind of forgettable. Alakazam, B tier Pokemon. Really nice, good Psychic type, strong Psychic type for a long time before Mewtwo came out. And then Mega Alakazam is going to go into A tier, not S tier. I know, right? Because Mewtwo, especially Psystrike Mewtwo, especially Shadow Psystrike Mewtwo, is just so much better. Barely better. Shadow Psystrike Mewtwo is better. Mega Mewtwo is going to be around the corner at some point, so sorry, you're not going in S tier. Machop is fine. Machoke is fine. Machamp is an A tier Pokemon. Why is Machamp A tier? It is always like either the #1 fighting type or like in the top like 5, like depending on like shadows and like megas and Lucario getting like Aura Sphere. But Machamp has always been just a top tier fighting type Pokemon. Just it's a really good Pokemon. Good job. Bellsprout. Okay. Weeping Bell. Okay. Victory Bell. Have you ever faced a Shadow of Victory Bell in Go Battle League? It gets C tier, okay? Tentacool, not so much. Tentacruel was kind of spicy for PvP for a while. It's kind of dope, kind of cool, kind of love it. We're putting the Geodude. So this tier is a lot of like first stage, second stage Pokemon. We're gonna put Golem up in B tier. It was the best rock type Pokemon until Gen 2 was released. Was like the mainstay of trying to get your first ever Articuno Moltres Zapdos. You would just go in with a team of Golems, maybe a Rhydon, and just put in the work. Ponyta. Okay, Ponyta, fabulous shiny. Shiny Ponyta is S. Regular Ponyta, because it can be shiny, is a B. Rapidash, doesn't really do much. I have used Rapidash in PvP, it's okay. Now Slowpoke, if you max out a Slowpoke, it can do damage itself in PvP. Like, it's actually not bad. Slowbro, also not bad. Mega Slowbro, I feel like no one talks about Mega Slowbro. Like, it got released and just no one talked about it. Magneton I wish was a lot better. It has like this very niche spot in PvP, but like not even like a great niche. Like, I'm sorry. Farfetch'd, regional Pokemon, very cool. I think the fact that, you know, like it's a regional and is so like hard to like find and get naturally makes it a B tier. Very cool. I have fond memories of chasing Doduos and like trying to find like my first Doduo in City Place, so that's kind of cool. I also remember hatching Seal for the first time and like getting enough Seal hatches for my first Dugong. So like just those like personal memories kind of bump these guys up. Grimer and Muck, just no. Alolan Muck would be further up here. Shelder is really good for Stardust. So Shelder, you are going up into B tier. Cloyster, not so much. Like, you have some PvP viability with like Icy Wind and shenanigans. Ghastly Haunter is actually like was crazy good in PvP for a while. Gengar is also going into probably A tier, just because like, again, you could just use a team of Gengar to just kind of like muscle your way through psychic Pokemon, and now we have Mega Gengar, and Mega Gengar is just disgusting. Plus it's shiny, mwah, fabulous. S tier, just looking kind of like Mega tier. Anyways, Onix actually has like boosted shiny odds in the wild, so kind of dope to hunt because it has better odds. Hypno is going into B tier for its PvP relevancy. It has just always been a mainstay. It gets access to a whole bunch of different moves. Very good. Drowsy, no. Krabby, I love Krabby. Krabby gets C tier just because I love it. Kingler, unfortunately, not so good. Crabhammer does actually, like, it pole vaulted up when it first got Crabhammer as a water type Pokemon, but you know, it's just not, it doesn't hang with the rest. Voltorb and Electrode, both kind of meh. Execute, kind of spicy. You max that thing out, can actually be good in PvP. Executor is actually still somehow like a top grass type attacker. Like, if you don't look at shadows and megas, like it's like in like the upper 20. Alright, so then we have Cubone, which is got a no. Marowak, love Alolan Marowak. Regular Marowak just doesn't do it for me. Hitmonlee, even though it did get some like reworks and like some fighting buffs recently, like it just doesn't match up with Hitmonchan though, who kind of sits there with Hunter and Hypno, just be like, especially in early Go Battle League, just very good, very solid, just kind of does what it does, has lots of access to a lot of moves. It's nice. Kind of like Lickitung, just a good PvP Pokemon. Yeah, that's right. Lickitung's better than Mega Charizard. See who pisses that off. Anyways, Coughing and Wheezing, just not too good in Pokemon Go. Rhyhorn, not too good, but Rhydon, for a long time, was just kind of like a nice, solid Rock-type Pokemon. Until we got better Rock-type Pokemon, like Tyranitar. But Rhydon, kind of good, kind of nice. Chansey. Oh, Chansey, you gym-defending fiend. Especially in early Pokemon. Does anybody remember when we had those 10-tiered gyms where there'd just be 10 Chanseys just maxed out and, no. Tangela. Tangela's actually not bad. Tangela is actually like a spicy grass type in and of itself. I'd say C tier, right along with like Executor. Not terrible. Kangaskhan, because just like with like Farfetch'd, it's a hard to find Pokemon unless it's your regional Pokemon. So like anytime you get a Kangaskhan outside of your region, it's kind of like this like dope moment. And it's cool. Plus it gets a Mega. Where is Mega Kangaskhan? Mega Kangaskhan though, it's not that great. Like, because of how good regular Kangaskhan, like that moment is, right? And how rare Kangaskhan is for everyone else, except for, people from Australia. That means you have to grind out somehow getting candies to max out your Kangaskhan to then make it a good Mega Kangaskhan. And there's just better Mega normal types. Or Seed. It's cute, but it doesn't really do anything. Seadra. It's cool, but doesn't really do anything. Goldeen, Seaking. They don't really do much in Pokemon Go. Like, Seaking does have this weird, like, niche where it is a possible triple legacy move Pokemon for PvP. Because in early Pokemon, it had access to certain moves, and now no longer has access to those moves unless you use a Elite TM. Staryu gets the Shelter treatment, because every time you catch a Staryu, it's extra Stardust. So it's dope. Starmie doesn't really do anything in Pokemon Go. Mr. Mime, surprisingly, gonna go up here with the other regionals. It's an interesting Pokemon. And we're just gonna leave it at that. Scyther. I love Scyther. Where'd I put Onix? So I put Onix up here. So Scyther is another Pokemon that has boosted odds for shiny hunting. So it's just kind of a cool Pokemon to shiny hunt. Jinx. Jinx, you can go to the bottom. Electabuzz doesn't really do much in Pokemon Go. Same with Magmar. They're just kind of the awkward middle stage between their cute baby forms and their better forms in Gen 4. Pinsir kind of also just doesn't do much in Pokemon Go. Mega Pinsir, a decent bug type Mega. Scizor, I believe, is better, and I think Heracross will be better too. Though it is like one of the few like new Megas I was able to get right away, so I personally kind of like it a little bit more. Plus, I have a shiny Mega Pinsir, and it's like one of my only shiny Megas. Tauros is actually going to be B tier, and is same thing. It's a regional, so the moments are cool. My first ever Tauros was actually in Chicago, so it was a Chicago Bull. So very cool moments. I also went on one of my trips to last year, I think, to one of the like national parks in Florida. I was far enough north where I was actually able to catch a Tauros there. So like most of South and even Central Florida is too south for Tauros. So Magikarp, the first ever shiny, yes. It was the first ever shiny in Pokemon Go. Stop it. Don't judge me. Gyarados is gonna go in A tier. Gyarados, great Pokemon, great like utility Pokemon. Gets Dragon sets, Dark sets, Water sets. Is just like a great Pokemon. High attack stat. Was a really good Water type attacker for a long time. Was a really good Dark type attacker for a long time. Mega Gyarados doesn't get enough love. It is also going to be an A tier. There are better Water type Megas and better Dark type Megas, but the utility of being a Water or Dark type Mega, very cool, very awesome. And the shiny on Gyarados, fantastic. Lapras, you're joking if you don't think Lapras is at least a B tier. Okay? It had such a solid place as like a defending Pokemon in Pokemon Go, especially early Pokemon Go. Like, so good. Eventually we'll get a Gigantamax, people. Phenomenal shiny, kind of rare. Anytime you see a Lapras, you're like, ooh, Lapras, nice. Like, it's not bad. Never will be bad. Dope Pokemon. Ditto. Ditto goes in C tier. Ditto took so long for them to figure out a mechanic for them to introduce into Pokemon Go. Then the shiny and how it works. It's a nice Pokemon. It's always a surprise when you get it. It's dope. It's always like a little ooh moment. Eevee. Eevee. Eevee's shiny is phenomenal. It also gives 2 days of Community Day anytime it comes around. Because of all of its evolutions. So kind of dope, kind of cool. Eevee itself in Pokemon Go doesn't do much, but the shiny's nice and all the evolutions, it's nice. We got the evolutions here. They don't do much in Pokemon Go anymore. They played their like niche role in Gen 1 of being a water, electric, and fire types, and there just weren't that many Pokemon, and Eevees were pretty common. So you could have a water, electric, and fire type Pokemon. In early Pokemon Go, they're kind of nice. You know what? Because of early Pokemon Go and nostalgia, let's just move them up, right? Like, that's okay. They're evolutions. We can do that, right? Porygon. Porygon. Just no. Just no. I'm sorry. No. Ammonite. Lord Helix. Lord Helix goes in B tier. Because A, Lord Helix, B, actually not bad, great shiny, does actually have play input in PvP, which is interesting because Amistar does not. Kabuto, great shiny, Kabutops, great shiny and cool looking. Also has like niche like PvP moves, like kind of interesting. Definitely want to play around with some like Gen 1 Pokemon again. Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl itself is probably mid. It has kind of always been like this like weird like if you need a unique 6 rock types or like a unique 6 flying types kind of situation. But Mega Aerodactyl is definitely an A tier Pokemon. Top tier rock type attacker. I think it gets some flying moves so that make it like an okay flying Pokemon, and kind of is the reason why Mega Pidgeot is lower, because it is a better flying Mega. Because it's a better rock type Mega, and its rock type Mega is just so good and just, you know, gives you flying type access. Really good Pokemon, very nice. I'm just looking at this list sometimes. I'm like, do I really have the 3 kings in with like Mega Alakazam and Charizard? That's dope. Snorlax. Oh my gosh. Snorlax is a B tier Pokemon, right? At least. It is great defender, a lot of like interesting like viability in like PvP, but also like in raiding. Like, you never want to see it as an attacker, right? Never. But now that it can be shiny, it's kind of like, ooh, cool. I also am very envious of this Snorlax with hats that some people have. So I'm excited. I love this guy. Really want the shiny at some point. Articuno. Articuno is, I'm going to say A tier, right? It's the Team Mystic Bird. It's actually not a bad Ice type Pokemon. And I personally use Articuno on my main Ultra League team all the time. Really like Articuno. It's not bad. Zapdos, my Team Bird. Also going to go into A tier. Really good electric type attacker. I have a Shadow 100% Zapdos, which is really cool. Very nice. Moltres is probably an S tier Pokemon. Moltres in Pokemon Go is like a top fire type attacker, top flying type attacker. The shadow variations of each are really good, and the shiny is really nice. I went the longest time without having a good Moltres, so my initial level 40 Moltres is actually like not even like an 80% IV. Like, it is bad, but I just have really good memories with this Pokemon. It's really nice. Seeing Magikarp up here with these other guys is absolutely crazy. I kind of just threw Magikarp in there, by the way. It was the first shiny, right? So just having like that, plus like the first time you ever get the 400 candies for Gyarados, you never forget that first Gyarados evolution. Really cool. I love it. Also, I've had like personally a couple videos tied to Magikarp. Chain fishing in Pokemon Go was my first ever video to hit over 100 views. My first ever shiny Magikarp was just such a crazy moment. I almost lost it because of a glitch and lag, so I had to like go back and find the Magikarp. Crazy, because it was not like a boosted odds event, it was just in the wild. Crazy Magikarps. Dratini, I love Dratini. Dratini's great. Really cute, fond memories. Plus, whenever you see a Dratini in the wild, it's just kind of dope. Dragonair, not as cool as Dratini. It plays like a very, very niche role in PvP, and that's about it. Dragonite, though? Dragonite might be an S tier Pokemon, right? It's really good in PvP. It has viability as a raid attacker, as a gym defender, as a gym attacker. Great shiny. Yeah, no, that's an S tier Pokemon. 100%. That's an S tier Pokemon. It can defend, attack, raid, PvP, good shiny. Yeah. Mewtwo, you already know Mewtwo's going in S tier. Mega Mewtwo X is going to S tier. Mega Mewtwo Y is going to S tier. Just because they're Mewtwo. They're Mewtwo Megas, right? They're going to be amazing in Pokemon Go. Bar none. Mewtwo. All the hype around Mewtwo, right? Like the very first trailer for Pokemon Go, where it's coming down in Times Square, right? The Times Square Mewtwo Pokemon trading card. The first ever EX raids. The first ever shiny Mewtwo. When Shadow Raids came, they brought Mega Shiny Shadow Mewtwo, or not Mega, Shiny Shadow Mewtwo to Pokemon Go, right? Like, there's just, Mewtwo is just that Pokemon. He is him, okay? And I think that's enough explanation. Mew is also gonna go into S tier, right? The first mythical Pokemon, the way you had to, like, get it as an encounter in, the first ever, like, Mew in Pokemon Go, you need to get it in AR, the 1 Pokeball, 2 Pokeball, 3 Pokeballs. Oh, I got it! Like, that moment for like anyone who doesn't know that that's coming is just really cool. My first ever, like, it was another one that meant a lot to me on my YouTube page. There's another one that cracked 100 views for the first time. Like, that was crazy. So yeah, this is my ranking of every Gen 1 Pokemon through the lens of Pokemon Go, right? So some of them are kind of weird. Some of them are kind of like, what do you mean Caterpie is better than Mega Mewtwo X? But yeah, that's going to be it for today's episode. If you did like it, go ahead and smash the thumbs up button. If you're enjoying the series, please subscribe. And as always, God bless, and see you for the next episode of Pokemon Go.